Hi, Mario Menjvar here, and welcome to the magic of animation. In this lesson, we're going to be talking about exaggeration. Exaggeration is a gesture that explodes. It's very important because you want your animation to make sure that it's actually doing what it's supposed to do by getting its message across to the audience, and it's things that actually you see actors do a lot, especially in staging. So let's say if someone says, "I love you," instead, you can go and say, "I love you." You see how that actually punches up your animation a little more and your acting. So we're going to do some exaggeration today. We're going to do a gentleman that's getting a little upset and that he's basically telling someone to get out. So let's see what we come up with, and let's have some fun doing this. So first, we're going to do the character just standing there. Let's fix his mouth a bit. Okay, so now I'm going to do the last pose, which is how we're going to end the scene, which is going to be with this exaggerated pose of him pointing. Actually, he's a little too big, so let's bring him down a little more. And you just have to be careful once in a while. Sometimes your drawings can get a little too big, so you have to just try and be aware of that. So let's push this a little more. And again, we have to exaggerate this pose. It cannot be too subtle. Maybe make the head a little more interesting. We'll tilt it a bit. So we have this key pose. Let me just fix some of the things here on the bottom. Maybe bring the shoulder down a bit. Okay, so now we're going to do that breakdown. So we're going to anticipate that action. So now we kind of see where the action is going, and we still have to break it down some more. So now he's going to be coming up, and we're going to leave his head down just a bit. This arm is still going up. This one will be overlapping. And the head's going to be going down a bit more. Let's bring this arm up a little higher. Just like that. Now I'm going to add another breakdown. So I'm going to act that out again. And so I have to make sure that arc is working really well. Let's fix that finger just a little more. So let's see how these breakdowns are looking. Let's slow it down. So I'm definitely missing one more key drawing. So his hand comes up, and we're going to put that hand in the opposite direction. It's going to drag a little bit. So let's see how that looks. So they're starting to feel a little better. You really start seeing some nice flow. So now what we have to do is break it down some more, so that way we can start working on the timing. I'm going to add a little bit of anticipation. Okay, so let's see what we have now. So that's getting there. So let's keep going. Let's add more breakdowns. And we're going to want him to slow down right around here. And the reason we're slowing this pose down is so that way the audience can see it a little more and kind of feel the impact when he explodes and he just starts pointing his finger. So some things are coming together really nicely. We just have to break it down some more. Actually, let's keep his head down just a little more. We'll add another one. Here we're going to really have his mouth open up really wide. So here now we have a better idea of where we're going with the animation. We'll probably slow it down just a little more. And I think what we need to do is probably add a few frames here just to slow it down a bit. So now we're going to close up the mouth just a bit. So we're going to push this pose a little more, make that finger point by just exaggerating it and pushing it out a little further, kind of like a stretch type of feel. And then we're going to have it just settle back in just a bit. And probably one more in between will do it. Let's see what we have. And there you have your character. He's exaggerated. We exaggerated that pointing by pushing it out as far as we can. And there's just a little more energy, which is what you're always looking for in animation. And that's exaggeration. So have fun, give it a shot, and I'll see you next time. Here's an art tip. Draw from reference. Some people think that using reference is cheating, but it's not. Every good artist uses a good reference in order to get their point across. So don't be afraid of looking through the magazines or Google something just to see if you can get the details working really well. It's always good to have reference so that way your drawings can look much, much better. In this lesson, we're going to be doing straight ahead animation. Now, what is straight ahead? Well, remember all those things we were talking about, keys and breakdowns and in-betweens? Well, you gotta throw them out. We're going to be doing everything straight ahead, keys, in-betweens, and breakdowns at the same time. Just think of it as a stop motion animator. They have to do the same process all the time. So we're going to animate a person jumping straight ahead. And it's going to be a small figure so that we can get a good jump across the screen. And he's going to start coming down. Go to the next drawing. Let's come back here and show some more of the other drawings. So this person is basically just dropping. And think of the bouncing ball. He makes contact with the ground. And I'm going to keep one leg still up in the air, so that way they won't be coming down at the same time. You always want to try and break up your animation a bit. And here we're going to do the squash. Now, just because we're doing straight ahead animation doesn't mean you can go back and forth and see if you need to add something in between. The whole point of straight ahead animation is it kind of helps you loosen up a little bit. It kind of helps your animation feel a little more loose and less posy. He's going to push off. So he's going to push off kind of like the squash and stretch when it comes to the bouncing ball. So I'm going to do a straight stretch right here. Let's see what we have so far. So you see it's much looser. There's more squash and stretch going on. You don't have to worry too much about key poses. And it's okay. You can always do straight ahead and key poses, mix them together if you feel that your animation is a little too stiff. But this is always something good to practice all the time. Now he's coming down, and his legs are going to be coming down too, to anticipate the landing. And what we're really doing here is the bouncing ball, really. We're just adding legs to it arms, and a head. Again, if you notice, I'm always keeping one leg higher than the other. You don't want both legs to be coming down at the same time. Now both feet. Let's see what we have so far. So you can see there's a lot of flexibility going on in the animation. So now he's going to be taking off again. But let's do something different this time. Instead of him landing, I'm going to have him flip. And what's great about straight ahead animation is that sometimes you don't know where it's going to take you. What's happening is that you're letting the character basically dictate where it wants to go. And sometimes it's okay to do that in animation. And let's see what we have. So that's how you do straight ahead animation. So give it a shot, have fun, and I'll see you next time. When I was young and I was in school, in class, I used to daydream a lot. And I used to get in trouble daydreaming. But the thing is that I wasn't daydreaming because I was bored. Actually, I was bored. But I was daydreaming because I was kind of coming up with worlds and characters that I wanted to create. And I would get in trouble a lot. And in my report card, they will always write, Mario daydreams a lot. He daydreams a lot. He daydreams a lot. He has to wake up. And in a way, I'm kind of glad I didn't wake up because that created my career. And to this day, I still daydream about different worlds and different characters, and it's not my living. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson, and I'll see you next time on The Magic of Animation.